welcome back to my channel. Oh, fuck. Gotta close the door. It's never quiet. All right, let's try that again. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well and have had a happy day or morning or evening or whatever time it is wherever you are. Today I am going to go ahead and bring you my November TBR, and this one is going to be a little bit of a special one because it's going to be sort of themed, I guess you could say, sort of themed. I have been particularly inspired recently to try and get back into some classics. We'll see what happens, but I think the fact that it's been like school time and the dark academia world is just like taking over my life, and I love it. I think a lot of that is just inspiring me to try and get back into reading some classics. When I was in high school, I obviously had to read my fair share of classics that were required literature, but honestly since then I haven't read hardly any, and I wanted to take a crack at it and try and approach classics from my own motivations rather than from like an English class. So yeah, I'm excited to bring you guys this TBR. It's a little ambitious of a TBR to start with. The last two books that I'm going to talk about are maybes on the TBR if I end up having time. I will open it up to you guys though when I get to those last two books. Let me know down in the comments which one you think that I should read, given what I let you know about the synopses that I know about, and if you've read them or not. Let me know what you think, so that if I do have extra time, I will have some input on which one I should go for. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and start with the first book that I'm hoping to read in the month of November. So the first book that I am hoping to read in the month of November is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. So this is a book that has been recommended to me every time I mention to somebody that I want to try reading more classics, but I sometimes have a hard time getting into them. Every time I say that, anybody who has read this book says this is the one that I need to read. So this book is basically, it falls nicely under the umbrella of dark academia and this sort of like gothic tale. It is about a man named Dorian Gray, and he has a portrait painted of him, but he becomes terrified of aging. And so I think what ends up happening is basically as he goes through his life and he kind of like degrades morally, he himself stays young, but he sees all of the effects of his life and his choices and his aging in this painting instead, and he sort of evolves into this sort of madness, I guess. So I'm really excited about this one. This is the Oxford University Press Oxford World Classics edition, and I'm really excited. This one is about, let's see, this one is just about 190 pages, and actually the last little bit of it has a lot of explanatory notes, which for me will be helpful if I need to have someone help me out with my understanding. Hopefully I should be fine, but I actually like that they have some explanatory notes in the back for me so that I can kind of look into what they have to say about certain parts of the book. So really looking forward to this one. It's going to be the one that I start out with just to hopefully get myself started on the right foot. So looking forward to that. All right, guys. The second book that I am hoping to get to this month is, it's a big one. Not a long one, but it's a big name. Hopefully everybody has heard of this one, but this is The Phantom of the Opera. So amazingly enough, naively enough, I have never read this book, but I adore the musical. I adore the soundtrack. I adore everything having to do with the story. I dabble here and there in music. I was in bands and orchestras and things like that growing up, and all through college, and so I have a very special place in my heart for Phantom of the Opera already, and I haven't even read the book yet. So when I saw Emma talking about it on her channel, I'll link her stuff down below, and her Dark Academics book club, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta pick it up. I'm not going to be in time for their live show, unfortunately, but I wasn't going to let that get me down. I'm going to read it anyway. So Phantom of the Opera, in case you don't know, is written by Gaston Leroux, and it is all about an opera house and a woman named Christine Daae. And Christine is an up-and-coming singer, and she has this mysterious tutor that helps her with her singing. And there's this sort of question, I guess, of this opera house being haunted, and so people don't know. I think the themes in the book are a little bit more nuanced than the themes in the like movie adaptation or the actual musical itself. But I believe our question is basically, is this place haunted? Is it a ghost? Is it just a murderer? Is there just like some random person that's kind of like trying to spook all of the people that work with the opera and that sort of a thing? And so we follow Christine Daae as she goes through her time in the opera house, and we try to sort of solve this very gothic mystery. So I'm really excited. I can't wait to get into it, because apparently the language is beautiful, and I feel like it'll be a perfect combination of a classic that is digestible for me because I'm already so interested in the story, but I believe it's different enough from all the other like adaptations and versions of it that it will still be interesting enough for me to digest from a book perspective. So yeah, I'm really excited for this one. Let me know if you guys have seen all of the different versions of it and experienced it in its different ways, and let me know which format is your favorite, like the movie, seeing it on the stage, or the book itself. But yeah, so that's the second one that I'm hoping to pick up this month. Tea break. I am drinking a chai rooibos herbal tea right now, and it is lovely. So lovely. All right, so the next one is a little bit of an interesting one. I was perusing bookshop.org and trying to figure out what I wanted to pick up, and I was looking for something that was going to be kind of like short and easy, and I came across Dead Poets Society. Now, before anybody gets crazy excited, this book is actually based on the film Dead Poets Society. You can actually see Robin Williams on the front, R.I.P. And so I know, I'm gonna preface this by saying I can't believe it either, but I haven't actually seen the film of this yet, and also nothing has been spoiled for me up to this point. So please do not spoil anything for me. I have made it 24 years of my life without being spoiled for this story, and I don't want it to happen in the next month. So I am going to go ahead and read this little book version of it to kind of get the gist of the story, and then in what I was looking at online, it seems like this version is kind of like brief and to the point and gives you like the overview and the general gist of the story. And then after I read this, I am of course going to watch the movie for the sake of dark academia and me just like going with that theme in November. So basically, I believe this book, I mean, this is going to sound so naive because I really know nothing about the story, incredibly enough, but I believe it is about this group of boys that go to this academy, and they have this English teacher who sort of introduces them to all of these different poets and poetry, and he encourages them to go and live their lives, carpe diem, all of that jazz. And in doing so, the boys create really good connections with each other and start to try and like really take on the freedom of their lives. But I think that there's a little bit of a darker twist to what happens when that freedom goes too far. So yeah, I am really looking forward to this one. This one is very short. It's like 150 pages, and the text is not small, and the pages are tiny. Like, this is my hand. So I think this is probably gonna be like a day's read for me, honestly, a day or two. And that's not bragging. That's just, I think it's gonna be kind of short. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to finally get myself into this story after years and years of somehow not getting there. Okay, next one. Oh, yes. All right, so the next story that I would like to read in the month of November is If We Were Villains by ML Rio. So this story is like quintessential dark academia. This book, I believe, is about, again, this group of students who who are theater students, I believe, and as they go through their program in school, they are studying Shakespeare, and their final year at school is to study Shakespearean tragedies, I believe. And so they become, I mean, they're like super dedicated to their experiences and their shows on the stage and that sort of thing, but I believe the lines begin to blur between what is on stage and what is in their lives, and because they are tragedies that they are acting out, I believe murder and mystery and intrigue ensues. So I'm very excited for this. I have heard that it is sort of like a love letter to Shakespeare, and I myself find some of Shakespeare's plays to be great and some of Shakespeare's plays to be a little bit over the top for me. So hopefully it'll kind of like give me a little bit of a background into being able to just really appreciate the parts of Shakespeare that I want to be able to appreciate. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. I actually, even though this cover is very simple, I actually really like the sort of like minimalism of it. I like the little, I don't know if you can see, but there's like little leaves that are entwining through the words. So yeah, it's gonna be a good one. That is book number 4 for this month, hopefully. Alrighty, book number 5 I have not yet purchased. I perused my local bookshop and also perused bookshop.org, but I didn't want to quite pull the trigger on it because I want to try again and go to my local bookshop and see if they have gotten this yet, because it is a newer release. And that one is going to be A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. So this story is one that I am very excited to get into. The minute that I heard that this was going to be released this year, I was like, oh, yes, I really want to. It sounds like right up my alley. Anything, I mean, I've said dark academia as like the buzzword of this video. I've said it a million times already, but anything with like a school setting, like a magic school setting, I am all about. I'm also rereading the Harry Potter series right now on audiobook. I'm not paying for it. I'm trying to figure out a way where I can like continue to love the series and get myself a nice collection of Harry Potter books without having to really contribute too much to J.K. Rowling at the moment, because we're all upset about that, rightfully so. But, sorry, tangent. Yes, A Deadly Education. I am looking forward to going back to my local bookshop and seeing if I can get it this month so that I can read it. But basically, it is by Naomi Novik. I have not yet read any of her books, but I have a few of hers actually on my shelf that I have been waiting to get to for the winter time, because I have heard that they are extremely like wintry and atmospheric, and the only time this year that I'm probably gonna have anything close to cold weather is when I go home for the holidays. So that's on that holiday TBR. So this book, A Deadly Education, is basically about a school, a magic school. The gist that I understand is that when you go to this school, you learn about magic, you go through your schooling, but if you don't pass, like if you don't do well, you die, I believe. There's like, it's a very dark setting. There's like no holidays, no teachers, only like strategic friendships and things like that. And basically, I believe you have to kind of like watch out for all of these like dark and evil things in the school while just trying to get through it. And if you don't, if you mess up, if you take a wrong step, 'tis a deadly education after all. So very excited for that one. I feel like that will be a nice kind of like fantasy bump after the majority of classics that I'm going to be reading this month. We'll see if I read that after those first 4 or if I kind of like splice it between them. Personally, I like to kind of like alternate genres when I read so that everything feels fresh and new and I don't get like burnt out on any one genre or style or subcategory or whatever. So we'll see what I'm feeling. If I'm like, well, after some of the classics that I've been talking about, then I will hop over to A Deadly Education and see how that goes. Okie dokie. So now we are on to the last two books that I want to talk about. These two books are on the ambitious TBR for November. We'll see how much I get read. November is going to be like the big wrap up of my school quarter as well, so I'm going to be very busy with final projects and things like that. Lots of like group work and reports and stuff like that. So we will see what happens. But these two books at the end here that I am looking at are Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte and also Secret History by Donna Tartt. So Jane Eyre obviously is a classic story, and it's a little bit of that like gothic, ghostly classic, while also being sort of very romantic writing. And then over here we have The Secret History by Donna Tartt, which is again sort of along the same realm as If We Were Villain, with that very like dark academia school setting. So we'll see which one I'm feeling like checking out. I want to read Jane Eyre, but I'm also a little scared because it's a little bit longer, and to be completely honest, you guys, I read like Pride and Prejudice when I was in school. It was probably my least favorite classic that I read. That said, I do love like all of the adaptations, so maybe I just was approaching it from a very like jaded senioritis-y high school student perspective. Also, sorry about the lighting. It's getting kind of weird because the sun is setting. It's the end of the day here, so hopefully this isn't too ridiculous with the lighting right now. You know what? Let me just see if I can fix that really quickly. I don't know if that really helped, but we're just gonna go with it because we're almost done here. So, yes. Basically, I'm a little bit nervous about Jane Eyre because I am nervous about this sort of writing style. I love like a good gothic story, and I just don't know how the combination of gothic and romantic style writing sort of like peters out here. So, peters out. Who knows what I'm talking about. But basically, I'm a little intimidated by this, but I want to try it at some point, and I have it now, so it will happen at some point. And then of course there's The Secret History. So if I'm feeling much more like dark academia, if I really want to like stay down that sort of like school route, especially if I enjoy If We Were Villains, then I'll probably go with this puppy over here. So that said, I would love to hear you guys' opinions on these two, and let's do a little poll. If I can figure out how to put it in the video, I'll put the little, don't know where it goes, but I'll put the little thing that you can click and decide which one you think that I should go ahead and do. Otherwise, leave me a comment down below. Let me know which one you think is better, which one you prefer, your experiences, your likes, your dislikes. Just spoiler free, y'all. Spoiler free. So yeah, those are the last two for this month. As I said, this is a very academic, classics heavy TBR for myself, which is a little bit ambitious. So this is what I hope to get done this month. If it turns out that I'm just like burning out and I need to like take it slow and chill out, I will probably just end up reading something easy like one of these pups, or like, I mean, yeah, those are kind of on the list. I also want to read A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab at some point. It's been on my shelf for a few months now, and I just haven't figured out how to place it in my TBRs recently. So we will see, y'all. We will see. I'm just trying to be relaxed about it because I'm in school and I'm busy and I'm such a mood reader. Reading is just like, it's just always going to be a comfort for me and an adventure and a challenge in a good way. So I just don't want to fudge it up by forcing myself to do something that I'm not into. So we'll see how it goes. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a like, subscribe down below, and let me know what your November TBR is. And if it has any dark academia or any academia in general, please let me know. If you have any better suggestions for some other dark academic gothic classics, please let me know. I want all the recs because I am not well versed in the classics realm. So all the help I can get is exactly what I want. So anyway, thanks so much for watching today, you guys. I hope that you have a wonderful day or night or morning or whatever time it is wherever you are. And yeah, stay safe out there. Okay, bye.